So now we're going to practice with CSS properties. In this hands-on practice, we're going to configure a web page with centered content and practice configuring our CSS properties. So we're going to create a new folder in our Chapter 6 folder. I'm going to create a new, let's just do it up here. This is going to be called my Kayak Chapter 6. And into this folder, I'm going to copy the header back blue JPEG and hero back 2 JPEG from my starters folder. So let's see, header back blue, hero back 2. Copy those over to this folder. And I'm going to open up the Chapter 3 Starter 3 HTML file. Edit it with Notepad. So here's my file, and I'm going to save this into that data files folder. So let me go to my web 1 folder, chapter 6, Kayak, and this is going to be called index.html. Save that. So I want to center the page content by applying the coding technique that we did in Hands-on Practice 6.4. I'm going to edit my embedded CSS file here. I'm going to configure a new selector, an ID named container that has style declarations for the width, the margin, and the right margin. So I'm going to come down here. This is going to be my container. Margin left, auto, margin right, auto, and width of 80%. Now, before I save this, I'm going to just run it in Chrome so we can see what it looks like right now. So this is my file as it is right now before I save any of the changes that I just did. So I'm going to save that and launch in Chrome again. So all we've done is add that container, but we haven't really added the container to our HTML page, right? So that's why we don't see any changes. Because although we've added it to our CSS, we have to actually add it to the HTML as well. So we're going to go down and edit our HTML now. We're going to find a div element that wraps or contains all the code within our body section. So we're going to come down here after our opening body because we want it to have everything. We're going to go div ID equals container. And then we're going to close that div because we want it to have everything right after our closing body. Save it. So now we went from that to that with our 2 lines in our CSS and adding that div to our HTML. And we're going to come back to our CSS again. And now we're going to configure a white background color, give it a minimum width and a maximum width, add a box shadow, offset and blur, and a border all within that container tag. So underneath, oops, I forgot my semicolon right there. We're going to go background, color, white, min, width is 650 pixels, max width is 1280 pixels, box shadow 10 pixels, 10 pixels, 10 pixels, and our color and our border 1 pixel all the way around, solid with this color. Save. So now we've added some more styles to change the color. give it a box shadow. You can see the shadow right here. So next we're going to edit the styles and change our background color of our body from this to so now we can actually see those styles that we did to our box show up a little better now that our background's not a darker color. We're going to go to our header, and now we're going to add some declarations to configure the height, top padding, left padding, and text shadow. So after our background repeat, we're going to add our new configurations. Height of 80 pixels. Padding top of 5 pixels. Padding left 2 EM. Text shadow 1 pixel, 1 pixel, 1 pixel. Shorthand. Save that. That all applies to our header section. So now you can see right here is where our header is. Give it a little more depth, let it stand out a little bit more. So our H1 selector, we want to configure a 0 bottom margin. Now here, if we added it here, that would apply to our H1 or H2 and our H3, which is not what we want to happen. So we're going to come down underneath this and add one specifically for our H1. It's going to be margin bottom 0. Save. So it gets rid of some of this space, brings our navigation up closer to our header. We're going to go to our nav right here. And we're going to add a declaration to configure center text with the text align. So we've got our font weight, our font size, and our background color. And we're going to come underneath that, text align, center. So now we took our navigation and we centered it up on our page. We're going to go to our main element selector and we're going to add declarations to configure our image as the background image and a background size to 100% and white text with 2 EM of padding. So here we have our background color. We want to come underneath that and we're going to go background image URL hero back2.jpg background size 100% color 2E not there yet, color FFFF and padding 2 EM. So all of this will be applied to everything that's within our main section. So if we run it, see it just applies to our main. So it takes it from that blue background till now we have that image. We've changed our color. We've gotten rid of some of this down here at the bottom with our footer. So now our last style is going to be applied to our footer. We're going to add a declaration of 0.5 EM of padding. So right here under background color, we're going to go padding 0.5 EM. Save that. Launch it. Gives us a little bit more padding now. So we've gone from this, where we started, to a couple lines of code within our CSS to this, which if you look at it, our final product is a much more refined looking page than what we started with.